Gwaan YouTube family. My name is Eric. This is the Eric Evolving channel. If you're not yet subscribed, you know what to do. Like, comment, and subscribe. This is our weekly video. I try to bring these to you on a Sunday right around 11 a.m. We talk about what's kind of in the news, what's going on with me, the Florida man, and of course, your weekly comment shout out. I may answer a question in there as well. So one of the things I wanted to talk about, last week we talked a little bit about moving to Florida, or reasons not to move to Florida, but 7 reasons. And one of those reasons was the housing market. So what I wanted to take you guys through today is an article that I read about what the experts think will happen to the Florida housing market in 2023. So I'll link it in the description below, but here we go. So this article is covering basically what took place at the 2023 Florida Real Estate Trends Summit in Orlando. And what they're saying is that they believe that the Florida housing market will return to a more traditional market like what we saw in 2018 and 2019. So let's jump right into it. So Florida Realtors chief economist Brad O'Connor told about 500 people at the summit, "We expect the state's residential real estate market to return to a more typical place. I believe 2023 will look more like the traditional housing market years of 2018 and 2019 in Florida as supply and demand become more balanced. One major question currently on the minds of real estate professionals, home buyers, home sellers, and others is a price correction on the way." So that's the question. And that's one of the questions that's on my mind as well. Is a price correction on the way? Prices are determined by both demand and supply, O'Connor said. Falling demand is only one ingredient needed for a large correction. We also need a flood of supply. So he's saying, just the demand going down is not enough to kind of even out the market. The supply needs to be high as well. In the last housing cycle, this came from overbuilding and foreclosures. And I'm thinking that he's thinking back to probably 2008. And it's unlikely that we're going to see a flood of newly built homes on the market for several reasons. First, fewer home buyers currently exist than in the years past. Builders are more conservative when it comes to taking on new builds, and home builds are taking longer to complete. Supply is also being affected by homeowners who don't want to list their house to buy a different one because they're likely to have to pay more on the next home due to higher mortgage interest rates. I'll talk a little bit more about that part in a little bit. Mortgage rates will come down, but it's all dependent on the different factors, he said. All of the current forecasts on existing home sales in 2023 rely on where the 30-year mortgage rate is going to be, and that's in flux. So this article also covers kind of all the major forecasters like Fannie Mae, Redfin, and a few others, and they all are forecasting that existing home sales will fall from about 7% to about 21% year over year in 2023. Dr. Connor also go on to say housing prices are beginning to flatten but continue to risk decline as buyer interest perks up. Buyers are still waiting in the wings, interested in purchasing a home as soon as they're able to do so financially. We continue to see that home ownership remains a strong goal for consumers, particularly for young adults looking to start a family and who feel secure in their jobs and ready for that next transition. So, as I said, I will link this particular article in the description below. But this is just kind of like an outtake from the article. One of the things I will say, I think supply is going to be in the market. We're going to have more supply. The reason why I believe that is that even though we have less home builders, and they're a little bit more conservative, I think there's a lot of people right now who are canceling their plans to purchase a new home. So they have started the process, started building, the builder has started building the property, and they have decided that they're going to back out, forego their down payment and back out of the deal. I think that's happening, and I think that's how we're going to have a high supply in the market. I think unfortunately there are also going to be, not a lot, but probably a few people who are going to be going through foreclosures, unfortunately. So just because the economy is just really like out of whack with inflation and everything else. So I think there's going to be some foreclosures going on. So I think that's going to put a lot more houses on the market. So as those come on the market, then the prices are going to come down because there's going to be competition. People are going to lower their prices just to get a sale, if you will. Not even a quick sale, but just a sale. I, for one, also was thinking about it. I'm not sure how serious I am right now, but I was thinking about selling my home, purchasing like a townhome or a condo. And that was one of the biggest things that was holding me back, was the interest rate. So I have a pretty good deal on the interest rate right now. So I don't want to sell, even though I may make a little bit of a profit selling my home. I don't want to sell, go buy something else and pay a higher interest rate, which is either going to keep my mortgage payments the same or maybe even increase them whenever you start thinking about not only that the interest rates is higher, but maybe I'm now going to pay a higher HOA and other costs that are involved. So I definitely agree on that point, that there's probably a lot of people out there that would probably want to sell and maybe get something different, move to another neighborhood or whatever, but they're just feeling kind of stuck in their home because they don't want to sell and go buy at these high interest rates. So let me know what you guys think. As I said, that's just my opinion on it. I said the market has to correct, and then that may help a lot of folks who are also renting, because as the housing market kind of levels out and prices start coming down, I think the rental market would also start having to kind of correct itself as well. So again, sound off in the comments. Let me know what your thoughts are, and we'll move on to our next segment. I'm going to call this segment Gwaan with you. Gwaan with you, brother. So what's up? What's been going on with me? So I have pretty much a story from today, and this works out in a couple of ways. Just based on my plans of where I wanted to live when I was moving down here in Tampa. So went down in Tampa this morning, got me some Jamaican breakfast. There's really just a few places down here that you could get Jamaican breakfast. That's one of my pet peeves of living down here, is that you can't just readily get Jamaican breakfast anywhere. You can't even get, and for my folks that's up northeast, you can't even get a hot breakfast sandwich, like like a bacon, egg, and cheese on a bagel or anything like that. There's nowhere that offers that. The closest that comes to that is Wawa, which you could get like a panini, a breakfast panini or breakfast wrap or something like that. But I have not found a spot with hot breakfast where you could go in, get some eggs on the go. There are breakfast places like Kiki's, IHOP, and all that, but I'm talking about on the go. So that's another topic. But Turns out my car battery was giving me some problems. So I'm leaving the Jamaican spot, turn on my car. I'm like, yo, this car doesn't sound right. It's kind of slow to start. So I go over to AutoZone and have them check the battery. The battery is dead. I haven't bought a car battery in years. Car batteries are now $230. I was blown away. I was like, what? I was like, I'm not paying for that. So I come home and I'm like, all right, I must find a battery much cheaper online, locally too. So searching, found one in Walmart for $150 and was like, you know what? That seems like the best I could get because I've been searching everywhere else. So I'm leaving my house now to go to Walmart, get in my car, press the button, car doesn't start. Battery's completely dead. And I'm like, damn. So then I was like, you know what? I'll just ride my bike to Walmart and throw that battery on my back and bring it back. So I did just that, you know, put on a backpack, rode my bicycle to Walmart, bought the battery and rode back. I'll put up a little video here showing you me riding back with that battery on my back. But one of the things that I said when I wanted to move here, or even moved anywhere out of New York, was I did not want to be 100% dependent on having a car for even just the basic necessities. I always wanted to be either within walking distance or even like bike riding distance of stores. And I'm so happy that Walmart is within that reach. It's a good 2-mile ride for me on my bike, but it's still doable. You know what I mean? Like my car breaks down, I could get somewhere. I could get to the AutoZone. I could get somewhere without having a car. So I was very happy for that. So that kind of came full circle today. But yeah, man, came back and, you know what I mean, was like a real mechanic, took my battery out, put in a new battery. I felt accomplished today. It was a good day. It was a good workout too, riding that damn bike, with that damn battery on my back for 2+ miles. But it is what it is. It will contribute to the weight loss journey, which now I'm in the 240s now. So started off the year at 264. I'm in the 240s, the high 240s, but nevertheless 240s. So I got to keep working, keep pushing. And I know I will hit my goal of being under 200 by the end of the year, by the summer. My next segment is Florida Man. Let's go. Florida Man. All right. So this is a funny one. I'll put up the picture here and I'll link this in the description as well. So Florida man wearing "Who Needs Drugs" shirt busted with drugs. Typical Florida man. This guy is awesome. So a Florida man was arrested for allegedly possessing pot and meth while wearing a shirt that read, "Who needs drugs? Seriously, I have drugs." John Balmer was detained in a Hudson Kmart on Monday, reports the Tampa Bay Times. And this is from a couple of years ago too, by the way. According to an arrest report, the 50-year-old was in line at the store when a deputy walked in. Balmer spotted the law enforcer and allegedly tried to hand what was described as a bag of green leafy substance to the person behind him, but his line neighbor refused to accept it. Balmer is then said to have walked over to the cash register where he put the bag on the floor and paid for his items. Another deputy approached and asked him to open up his bag and found an unknown quantity of marijuana and methamphetamine. Balmer from Spring Hill was arrested and charged with 1 count of possession of methamphetamine and 1 count of possession of marijuana. That's the typical Florida man right there, man. Just put it on the shirt, baby. I got it. That was funny. Let me know what you guys think in the comments, man. And then this week's comments shout out. Got to shout out Janet. She says, Florida humidity, haha. If you can't handle that, you should not move anywhere in the South. Florida humidity is wild. So Janet watched last week's video, so thank you, Janet. And one of the 7 reasons not to move to Florida was the weather and the humidity. And I always thought it was not that humid. Like, for most days, I find it to be comfortable. I don't find it that humid. So I agree with you, Janet. Next shout out is for Alaya. Hope I'm saying your name right. But she's been a long time subscriber, long time viewer. I say I appreciate you, Alaya. Being in Florida for years now, all of these things are true. They were true when I first got here, and it's getting worse. Nice weather and lots of things to do, but definitely don't come to Florida without a plan and money. You're right about that. You definitely need money to be here. It's not cheap. I don't think it's cheap anywhere now, but if where you are is cheap, you better off staying there, because it is not cheap down here now. Next shout out is for Sonia. Sonia, also a long time subscriber and viewer. I appreciate you, Sonia. She says, if you didn't move to Florida, where would you have moved? That is a great question. So if I didn't move to Florida, I would have probably moved to Atlanta or somewhere in Georgia. I kind of like Savannah a little bit, so maybe, yeah, I'd probably do Georgia, and the reason, yeah, I said Texas as well. I considered Texas briefly, but I kind of feel like anything going away from the East Coast or too much off the coast, the eastern coastline, you know what I mean, is not. Yeah, it's not something that I would strongly consider. So I considered Florida a little bit, but not too much. I would probably stay in Georgia somewhere. If I didn't do like North Carolina, because, you know, as all of you know, I was looking into Charlotte. So Charlotte was a big possibility. But if not Charlotte, then yeah, maybe I would have tried somewhere in South Carolina or Georgia. But those were really all just all up and down the East Coast right there is where I really wanted to stay. But if push comes to shove, I've seen some really nice homes in Texas that are going for cheap. And I was like, man, maybe I should go to Texas. You see these homes that are just like amazing, and it's like $300,000 or $275,000. And I'm like, damn, you know, you can't get that kind of house down here for that price. So where would you guys move to? If you didn't move to Florida, where would you move to? And if you are considering moving to Florida, where else are you considering moving to? All right, that's my question for you guys. Thank you guys all so much for watching the video. Thanks for rocking with me. Stay tuned next week for another episode. Again, like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video. Peace. Thank you.